The giants in the landscape. Once upon a time, before humankind got to grips with the geological forces that shape the earth, giants and gods were credited, or sometimes blamed, for making features in the landscape. According to Norse mythology, our world was created from the remains of the murdered giant Ymir. Ymir's blood formed the oceans, from his flesh the earth beneath our feet was created, his skull became the sky above, and brains were thrown into the sky where they became the clouds. Rocks, boulders and mountains were explained away as gigantic trolls who failed to make it home before daybreak, whereupon the first rays of the morning sun had turned them to stone forever. Many such places retain their association with trolls in their place names today, such as Trolltøy, Troll Hill in Denmark, Rollakokka, Troll Mountain in Sápmi, Trollagil, Troll's Gorge in Iceland, Kintrolla, Troll's Head or Headland in Scotland, and Troller's Gill in England. In Europe, entire mountain ranges are named for the trolls and giants who were once said to live there, such as Kruknoza or Giant Mountains of Poland and the Czech Republic, Trollheimen, the Trollholm, Dovrefell, Hill of the Ogre, and Jotunheimen, the home of the giants in Norse mythology, in Norway. Giants have also been long associated with mountains, hills and ancient megalithic sites. Caer Druin, a rather impressive hill fort in Wales, is said to have been home to a local giant called Druin. Stonehenge was said to have originally been built by Irish giants before Merlin conjured it to its current location on Salisbury Plain, and the stones were once known as the Giants' Dance, or Cor Icuri, Council of the Giants, or the Giant Stones. According to local legend, many of the stone circles of Macri Moor in Scotland were created by giants playing a kind of tiddlywinks game, flicking stones down to the moor from their vantage point on Dora na Eich mountain, and Molfra Coit in Cornwall is said to be the remains of a giant's game of quoits. Many Neolithic chambered tombs are reputed to be the graves of giants, and such sites can be found from the Giant's Grave Chambered Cairn in County Tyrone in Ireland to Obrovny Hroby, giants' graves in the Czech Republic. And alleged giants' graves containing the remains of very tall humanoids have been found at the Hyperborean Gallery in Romania, at Castelnau in France, and beneath the King's Head Inn in Derby. Cadair Idris, the Chair of Idris, is a Welsh mountain in Snowdonia named for Idris Gower, Idris the Giant, who was said to go to the top of the mountain to gaze at the stars and search for inspiration. One day Idris was heading up to his chair only to be irritated by 3 pebbles in his shoe, so he plucked the stones from his shoe and chucked them down the mountain, where they can still be seen today as 3 very large boulders in the valley below. There's a stunning Neolithic chambered tomb on the Isle of Anglesey known as Barclodiad y Gaures, the apronful of the goddess, for it was allegedly created after a local giantess accidentally dropped some of the rocks from her apron. In Scotland, a similar tale is told to explain the existence of Ailsa Crag, a volcanic plug in the Firth of Forth. Only in that tale the goddess is named specifically as the Cailleach, the fairy hag goddess of winter. The Cailleach is intrinsically linked to the land of Scotland, and much of it is said to have been formed by her actions or her very hand. The mountains are her stepping stones, and in her hand she was said to carry a hammer to create mountains and valleys as she willed. Certain real stepping stones are credited to the Cailleach, such as those at the Falls of Connell in Scotland. In Wales, the Ruthgair stepping stones, part of the Welsh coastal path, are known locally as the Giant Stepping Stones, as they were allegedly created by a local giant to enable him to cross the water. According to Irish legend, the many volcanic basalt columns of the Giant's Causeway were created by the giant and hero Fionn McCool, to enable him to travel to Scotland after he was challenged to a duel by a giant who lived over there. In Baltic mythology, the Curonian spit that separates the Curonian lagoon from the Baltic Sea was formed by the giantess Neringa swimming up and down in the sea, and the nearby town of Neringa is named after her. The movement of giants was also said to make the earth shake, explaining earthquakes. In Greek legend, the chained titan Prometheus caused earthquakes as he writhes in pain as his regrowing liver is devoured daily by an eagle. In the Viking version, it was the writhing of the bound Loki that caused the earth to shake. For the Slavs of Eastern Europe, earthquakes, lightning and thunder were all due to Rubazal, the guardian giant of the Kruknoza mountains, who rules the weather in the area, taking a walk or riding out with the wild hunt. The concept of giants as protectors of mountains, regions and even whole countries is also demonstrated by the legend of Bran the Blessed of Britain, whose head was buried in London to protect Britain from invasion, and the Bergriesi rock giant of Iceland, who protects the southwest of the island and is often shown supporting the coat of arms of Iceland on official paperwork and livery. As well as leaving their legacy in place names and bones, giants can be seen in the landscape today, such as the chalk giant of Hernabus and the long man of Wilmington. Various land formations are known as sleeping giants, such as the one near Kinloch Rannoch in Scotland, where a local hill resembles the head, shoulders and torso of a recumbent man. A sleeping giant, also known as Mount Carmel in Connecticut, the sleeping goddess or giantess on the Isle of Lewis in Scotland, and the modern and man-made mud maid at the Lost Gardens of Heligan in England. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.